Deputy Speaker, I have two questions, maybe for Minister Chee Hong Tat. One is, can the Minister confirm that in assessing the prudential requirements of the deal, MAS have taken into consideration the capital extraction? Although you said just now that MAS have not approved the capital extraction. Have they considered, even with the capital extraction, the prudential requirements are still satisfied? This is the first question. Second question is, maybe both ministers can decide who to answer this question. This is about information given to Singaporeans. For the last few months, we are of the impression that the information given is all that we have. So now we know about capital extraction. This is a very important condition of any financial deal. And I'm surprised, I'm shocked, and I'm very unhappy today that this important condition is not being disclosed to the Singaporeans when we are all discussing about this deal. So whose responsibility it is for this, not disclosing this information? Can the government give a commitment that it will pursue responsibility with regards to this? Maybe the company and all that, because this is a very important condition for the financial deal. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Sir, I have actually addressed the first question that Mr. Leong raised in my response to various members. But in case Mr. Leong may have missed it earlier, let me say that again. So first, I think we have to understand that the proposed capital reduction is a proposal from Allianz. It is not something that MAS has approved because, as I mentioned repeatedly, the deal is still subject to MAS regulatory approval. So would MAS consider this proposed capital reduction in its overall assessment? The answer must be yes, because this is part of the proposal. So Mr. Leong always reminds us that he has more than 30 years of experience in the financial sector. So I'm sure Mr. Leong would agree with me that as a regulator, it is only right that we assess the full proposal, including this element within the proposal. Now, whether we agree with it or not, we have not yet come to a decision because this deal is still not yet approved by MAS. So earlier when we were discussing this matter of capital adequacy ratio, I think Minister Tong and myself were explaining that because of the way the capital is being optimized in the proposal, the capital adequacy ratios, even after the extraction, could still be met. But that is what the proposal put forth. MAS will, of course, have to assess this independently as regulator to see if we agree with that view. So I hope that clarifies the first question that Mr. Leong raised. Now, the second question, and I think my colleague, Minister Tong, may add on later. Let me just say, in response to Mr. Leong, that is why we are coming to Parliament. And in Minister Tong's speech, he has explained clearly and in an open manner our key considerations, what are our concerns, including the proposal to reduce the capital in income, and why that is a concern to MCCY, bearing in mind the Section 88 exemption that was earlier given and the undertaking and commitments that were given to MCCY. So I hope Mr. Leong understands that this is not about withholding information. This is about coming to Parliament after we have put together the full picture, working across the whole of government between MAS, MCCY, and also other agencies to see what is the overall assessment of how we want to move forward on this important issue, and then coming back to Parliament to present the information in an open manner and to propose that we amend the Insurance Act to give the Minister in charge of MAS the powers to consider the concerns and the views of the Minister for MCCY on public interest grounds. So I think it is important for us to recognize that this due, it is not yet approved, and this due is something that is ongoing, under consideration by shareholders, and that's why we have some urgency, and that's why we are coming to Parliament to seek approval urgently. Thank you.
Sir, I think Mr. Leong shouldn't mischaracterize what happened. I explained it in some detail in my speech, and I hope that you will not mischaracterize it by suggesting that information has been withheld. On 6th August, we were here, we explained why we believed that it is important for income to have the ability to find and make arrangements for a partnership. But as you know, the transaction was not approved, had not been approved, is being considered. We then got information from MAS. We shared information, and as you heard me say earlier, this is how the government works. We studied the information carefully, went through, understood the transaction and its impact, understood it from a financial perspective, understand it from a social mission perspective, and then after coming to a view that it would not be in the public interest for this to proceed, we had to decide what's the best way to deal with this, to handle this, having regard to the fact that the Insurance Act gives MAS the ability to look at transactions from a financial or prudential perspective, but not from this angle, which is the views of the MCCY minister overseeing cooperatives. So we had to reach a view as to not just that it is not in the public interest to proceed, but what we would do about it, which I'm sure Mr. Leong appreciates is equally important. This is, after all, a live transaction. It's going on, and there is market-sensitive information as well. So the first available opportunity, we've come to Parliament, explained it in a ministerial statement, the background, as well as the steps moving forward, and then tabling a bill, which we'll put in a few moments, for a debate on Wednesday, as much time as possible in the context given to members, given that this is a live transaction, and we can't leave this state of uncertainty pending. So I hope Mr. Leong appreciates that that's the scenario that we are in, and that there's no question of any information being withheld, either from Parliament or from Singaporeans.
I'll allow one last clarification from Mr. Leong. Please make it short. You will have the opportunity to debate the merit and the principles of the bill at the second reading and third reading on Wednesday. So could you make it a short clarification, please?
Yes, sir. I'd just like to say that I appreciate all the clarifications that both ministers have done today. Thank you very much. When I talk about responsibility, I'm actually talking about more when income make the announcement. Are they withholding information? Because we Singaporeans are all debating this deal, you know. If this capital extraction is included right from the beginning in the deal, this information should have been made available to all Singaporeans. Thank you.